Yes, people, you know what time it is. Welcome back to the Pole Position Pod. Yes, we are 2 days late. I do apologize. Stuff happened yesterday. We weren't able to stream and whatnot. But yeah, we're back today. If you guys could, tune in and appreciate, us at least coming back for the review show, that'd be great. If you could leave a like, subscribe, all the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because we're doing this for you guys. We're doing this content for you guys. We're doing the review shows. We're doing the preview shows and everything for you guys. So, yes, I know we are 2 days late, but it is what it is. Plenty of lockups and drama as Kimi Antonelli wins three in a row and Lewis Hamilton comes second. Hey, listen, I will take that all day, every day. I I don't care. As a Ferrari fan, I'm shameless. I will take that. You know what I'm saying? Lockups and drama. I told you about that, Auguste, didn't I, on the last show? I told you about the amount of lockups there was going to be. We saw it in the qualifying session. We saw how many lockups there were in the qualifying session with Alonso. We saw it with you know the rest. We saw it plenty of times during the qualifying sessions. Now we saw it during the actual race. How many players, how many drivers got, you know, eliminated from the race because they crashed out or whatnot. Full of drama, full of everything. Augustia, what's going on, bro? Hope you're doing good and hope everything's okay on your side. Talk to me.
Yeah, what's good? Pleasure to be with you. And again, there's no Formula One today, but we are the ones that give you the formula for the best content there is. So that's a bar, by the way. That's a supreme bar. No,
Yep.
it's good to be back. And look, that's why we're back, right? There's no racing on the track, but we are here to deconstruct and dissect what has happened there. So I'm looking forward to it. You know what? Let's give praise where praise is due. The Canadian Grand Prix delivered. If it was 100% success. I mean, the podium itself, Kimi Antonelli on the top, four race victories in a row for the
Wait, not three,
teenager.
not three,
It's four
four.
in a row. Yeah, he's won every race
Oh
since Beijing.
my!
He is on
Wow.
a tear. He has a
I thought it was
50
three.
point lead, 50-point lead at the top of the
I'm ahead this
championship.
time around.
But
I'm
by
ahead
the
this time.
way, for reference, Ekevin, Oscar Piastri was not ever ahead of Lando Norris by that margin. That is like an
Mm,
absurd margin. Kimi has already dunked. Of course, George Russell has had some issues, mechanical issues. But even then, if you look at the trajectory of that race, Kimi Antonelli was simply the quicker driver, even in the sprint, even in the race, throughout all the entirety of the last few weekends, on pure pace in terms of the ability to extract the most from the Mercedes package, this engine compression dominance. Kimi Antonelli has been the ace. He has been the
yeah.
superstar, and he is the chosen one for the next generation. And to make it even better, Kimi Antonelli on the podium with Lewis Hamilton, someone that was his mentor for the many years at Mercedes as well, he succeeded Lewis Hamilton's seat, Max Verstappen, other mentor, the two best drivers on the grid, in my opinion, the two best drivers in Formula One history as well. So it's a poetic, prophetic, perhaps in time. Of course, today we talk about that podium from, I think it was Canada as well a few years back. It was Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, Adrian Newey. That is the peak of World Championships podium wise. But I think Kimi Antonelli will surpass Fernando Alonso. I truly, truly believe that he is a generational talent. This might be, in terms of drivers, the best podium there. So congratulations, Kimi Antonelli and Lewis Hamilton. Like, we talked about it. The man. It's just one of those races where Lewis Hamilton was vintage. Charles Leclerc himself said it. He does not understand how Hamilton was able to extract this time. There was no issue. It was just Hamilton at his close to peak. And
Yeah.
Verstappen, welcome back, Max Verstappen. First podium of the season. Uh, Red Bull, again, have their issues, but it's a reminder that even if Red Bull have their issues, if you just give Max a little bit of a gap, he will be the one that proves greatness is still on top.
He must have had his updates and upgrades ready for the weekend. I mean he mentioned it during the sprint race that he couldn't come. I'm sure they made a few tweaks during the qualifying session during the before the race. You know what I'm saying, to ensure that he could have that pace to catch up. But we do have to take this into context a little bit because two of the top drivers that I said would probably finish in the top two crashed out. One of the cars. I mean, Lando Norris's car locked up. He wasn't able to. He wasn't able to continue. George Russell's car shut down. So much has happened. Like so much went on over the weekend. Like literally, this was drama at its finest. Like you talk about Formula One being one of the most dramatic sports in the world, right? That right there was pure drama at the peak of its powers, with two of the top two drivers crashing out of the race. not finishing the race, and allowing Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen to have a good race. That Lewis Hamilton overtake on Max Verstappen, by the way, brought back flashbacks. Flashbacks, bro. Flashbacks. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I'm telling you right now, yeah. Have we got our Formula One back? Take out Lando Norris and George Russell from the race. Two of the best drivers in Formula One today raced against each other. Not that I wish that anyone crashes out, but take those two drivers out. We got the two drivers in the top three. Yes, Kimi Antonelli won the race. Yes, I know that. However, he won the race because of his car being the fastest. Let's be real. He has been the best driver for the last 4 races. I'm not even going to take into it.
He's the best driver this season. Yeah, easily.
But we were one Mercedes power unit away from having the top 2 drivers in Formula One racing against each other to the finish line once again. We were so close, Augustia. We were this close to having flashbacks to the old Formula One that we saw 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Finally, we saw this in Montreal. Can this carry on? Where do we go next? Where's the next race? And when is that?
Headed to Monaco. And Monaco, you know what that means, Ekevin? The Mercedes engine compression, that loophole is over. The FIA are regulating it after Monaco. So what does that mean? Lewis Hamilton said it himself. Monaco is not a power-oriented track. If there's one track where power is not important, it's Monaco, right? Because you can't overtake. Which team have you said has built the best racing car?
Mercedes.
Outside of the power. You've said this many times. Ferrari. So Lewis Hamilton puts in a good Monaco race. He might be the favorite to win the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So you say, where do we go from here, Ekevin? You talk about the old Formula One. Max, Lewis, they look like they're getting the car that can compete. Yes, the racing on the track may be still Mario Kart style, but hey, it's fun. They're learning their way. And look, Hamilton and Max were vibing. We're having fun. They were smiling across the whole way. So, Ekevin, you're right. This is the vibes. The vibes are simply immaculate.
100%, bro. 100%. And I can't wait. I genuinely cannot wait, for the Monaco Grand Prix. I know it sounds weird to say I can't wait for the Monaco Grand Prix, but I'm interested to see what we do in that race, bro. Ferrari,
with these new regulations, especially.
Oh yeah, for sure, and that's what I mean. I think Ferrari will bring the upgrades to Monaco. Definitely, they'll make a few changes to the car. They have to make some few changes now. But this is a good thing to build on from. What we already saw in Montreal, add more to that in Monaco. I know we don't need that power unit stuff in Monaco, but I think in terms of qualifying sessions wise, I think we will need the qualifying session. I think we will need the fastest car for the qualifying session. If Lewis Hamilton gets a pole, oh my days, will that turn out to be huge for him, man? Because this could really change Ferrari season. This could really change Ferrari season if he gets pole. You know what I'm saying? And you mentioned there's no power unit, but when's the Monaco Grand Prix?
Monaco Grand Prix is in a couple weeks' time. The first weekend of June.
We got another break.
Which, in a way, I don't think you and I will complain because we got the Champions League final and the NBA finals and Roland Garros. So, in a way, we will take that break.
100%, man. It'll be the same weekend as Roland Garros, right? It'll be the same weekend as Roland Garros.
The final. Yeah, it'll be the same time. And it's in the same location in a way. Very close.
It's literally a few hours away. You know what I'm saying?
So after the race, you would expect, if there is a competitive final, the Formula One players to go to Monaco and vice versa. That's crazy.
So yeah, I cannot wait. Sorry, finish your point. Sorry.
No. I was going to say, I agree with you, I can't wait just for the reason that these new regulations, one thing we've seen is overtaking in abundance. Monaco is the one track where there's no overtaking. So let's see, does it compensate?
Do you think that I'm going to ask you a theoretical question here. I know it sounds kind of weird to say theoretical in this sense. Yeah. Or a conspiracy question. How about that? A conspiracy. With Toto Wolff, George Russell, Kimi Antonelli having issues over the course of the weekend, was George Russell's car down because of self-sabotage?
Was it down because of self-sabotage? Personally, if you ask me, I don't think so. because during the sprint race, Toto Wolff completely took George Russell's side in the image of the team rather than the fairness on track. So I don't think so. Also, we've said this. You actually asked me this question before the race here. If there is going to be an incident, which car would have the incident? I said George Russell. Remember we said this? I said Kimi's going to... Actually, this is my prediction. You can clip it back. I said Kimi was going to win the race, and George is going to have an incident. I said this on camera, actually, before the race.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a problem with any malice. I simply just think that Russell, new regulations, his side of the garage, haven't optimized it nearly as well as Kimi. Kimi's been lights out. Also, let's not forget, since the end of last year, I think Brazil especially, Kimi Antonelli's just been on a different level. He has been like the better Mercedes driver for some time.
For
so
sure.
this is just him getting comfortable. So no, I don't believe there is any malice.
I mean, it's been 4 races in a row, so I mean, there's no reason why he's not the best driver. You know what I'm saying? He's 4 races in a row for the youngest driver to ever do that. Like, that's crazy. Like, you gotta give him his plaudits. You gotta give the guy his plaudits. Like, I mean, 4 races in a row is crazy for a driver of his age. Like, you wouldn't expect it at all. Like, coming into this year, I mean, okay, there's a chance that Kimi could have won a race, but 4 in a row since he won his first one is crazy to me. God knows when the streak ends, but bro, if this continues, I mean, fair play to the kid. I mean, he's doing his job, he's doing his thing, and I mean, Russell last race he had an issue where he was few places down from the podium, but he managed to catch up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he managed to pick Charles Leclerc. I mean, Charles Leclerc was this close to finishing in the podium place, but he fell off. But with Mercedes, they've got that battery unit. So post Monaco, so now this is Ferrari's chance to capitalize on the season, right? Because you say FIA is going to take away that Mercedes power unit now. Is that correct? So
not take away, but regulate it a bit more.
So it's more even. It's fair in a way where other cars can compete. Because don't forget, there's Alpine as well using the Mercedes engine. There's also Red Bull using the McLaren using the Mercedes engine and right? So they've only got themselves to really look at and say, how are we going to use these regulations, or not use these regulations, use these new sort of rules or new sort of updates to get over the line for the season, because they're so far ahead now. Well, not so. I wouldn't say so far ahead, but they're kind of further ahead. But it kind of brings life into the race now, because other cars are going to start to think, all right, now we take this opportunity and just build on from that. Because you look at Red Bull, they've been struggling all season. Ferrari have had a bit of an up and down issue. It's God knows what happens to Ferrari, right? Williams, we don't know what Williams are going to do. You know what I'm saying? Racing Bulls, what are they going to do? Haas, Alpine, the rest of the crew, are they going to now make the slight upgrades to bring themselves back into the hunt? Because now there's 2 other cars that can really, really, really take this opportunity, which is Red Bull and Ferrari. They need to bring themselves back into the race now, because obviously McLaren have kind of overtaken Ferrari now, right, in the constructors. So
I think Ferrari have leapfrogged them again, if I'm not mistaken.
Now they're
leapfrogged back to back, basically DNF.
Yeah, this is the chance to continue the lead now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't interrupt you. Can I give you a stat real quick?
Yeah, go on. Of course.
So Ayrton Senna, one of, if not the best driver of all time. Alain Prost, one of the greatest drivers of the 20th century. Niki Lauda, Jackie Stewart, Nelson Piquet, Sterling Moss, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris. Do you know what they all have in common?
They've all won with what? They've all won with Ferrari?
No, Kimi Antonelli has won more races in a row than all of them have.
Kimi Antonelli has won more races in a row than all of them have in...
Yes, ever. Their longest ever streaks. Like Senna's only won 3 races in a row. None ever won more. Kimi's won 4 in a row. Fernando Alonso, his longest streak, 4 in a row. Lewis Hamilton, his longest streak, 5 in a row. Kimi Antonelli is really touching some historic...
He could match that in Monaco.
I mean, yeah, he would tie Hamilton, and that would be like absurd. Hamilton, the man with the most race wins. Kimi, of course, Verstappen has won 10 in a row. Verstappen's like god mode. But
Mm.
I just wanted to say that Kimi Antonelli, what he's done I understand he has the fastest engine, but still with the uncertainty and these new regulations, and in his sophomore year, the guy has been a generational talent at the bare minimum here.
He just has to stop being, a bit of a reckless driver. Because there's so many times where he's forced so many drivers off the track. There's so many times where he's purposely rammed into. Because last year, bro, it could have been Max Verstappen's 5th in a row, but if it was for him ramming into Verstappen at one point. You know what I'm saying? Because Verstappen would have been in the points, which would have got him that trophy, which would have got him the title. So yeah, man. I mean, I'm just like, the kid needs to just do his thing, continue doing what he's doing, like continue racing the way he is, but don't be reckless, because people will start to hate on the kid, and you don't want to see a talented driver like Kimi get hate, because this guy is a really talented driver. He's a good driver to watch, right? The way he dominates races, the way he takes him out from the start, but you don't want to see that for a young driver like Kimi. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see the amount of hate he gets for unnecessary reasons like that. So he has to stop being reckless, and I think continue what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Because when it's tight, when he tries to find his way through, and he doesn't get penalized for it, then we'll start to question the FIA's what's this word I'm looking for?
Their bias.
Not bias, but
their affiliation.
Integrity. Sorry, integrity.
Yeah.
Integrity. So yeah, the integral side of the Formula One FIA is where we now really start to look at and observe. So that's one thing. The other thing is, are Mercedes going to degrade? Because it might not be the biggest downgrade, but it might still be a downgrade that gets them over the line, but not as far ahead as they are from other cars. So that's also another question to look at and potentially observe in the upcoming races. So once we get back to okay, so looking at the schedule, it's Monaco, then after Monaco it's
Spain, probably a race in Spain, right? Usually.
Okay.
And then after Spain, it would be Austria. In Austria, it would be Silverstone.
Barcelona or Madrid?
I presume it's still Barcelona, right?
Barcelona be added to the track again. They added.
Yes.
To the track again, right?
So it is Barcelona.
Barcelona.
After after Monaco, it's in the next week it's Barcelona, and then after Barcelona it's hold up, I've lost it here. After Barcelona it is Austria, and after Austria it is Silverstone. After Silverstone it's Belgium. We have 6 races in 8 weeks of Formula One.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom. It is going to be relentless.
Yeah. So we're gonna be here previewing and reviewing races.
And with the World Cup in between somehow.
Oh yeah. The World Cup's gonna be huge. So
it was the World Cup trophy, by the way, was at the Formula One race this past weekend. It made a visit.
What did you obviously when we're talking like the next few? Which is the race that you look at and say this is the turnaround point for the rest of the grid? Which race do you look at and say that's the turnaround point? So I think it's probably Barcelona.
Yes, a mini turning point, a micro turning point would be Barcelona. After Monaco, let's see whether the FIA truly officiate the Mercedes engine compression loophole. Because if they can regulate that and Mercedes advantage gets slashed, I think we have a very even playing field. We have Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, some races Red Bull, all vying for that top spot. For me, it would more be during the season break, halfway point of the season. Because remember, teams can't work during the off season, the mid-season break. At the mid-season, what is the state of the league table? the leaderboard.
Mm,
Because if
yeah.
Mercedes still have this superior unipolar advantage, if they're in a league of their own, I think they are all but going to win the constructors and the drivers championship. But
Hmm.
until then, throughout the next few weeks, if in terms of not just deficit time wise, but points wise, if teams can cut into them, like in Canada, for example, then I do think that we have a championship on the line. So to put it simply, I agree with you, Ekman. I think Barcelona will be a good barometer of that because then it's Monaco and Barcelona, the two races where Mercedes are going to be penalized for their
Yeah.
advantage, and then also the season break.
Mm. And obviously, it's going to be what? Um, what else do you think? I mean, which of the races do you think? It's not just Barcelona, but there could be. It could be Silverstone, isn't it? Silverstone is another one.
Yeah, I mean, Silver. But the problem with Silverstone is it's such an iconic and classic race every season. Lewis Hamilton is case in point. In years when he hasn't had the car that should be near race victories, he somehow maneuvers his place up there. So to me, Silverstone's one of those races like Interlagos in Brazil, where it's an X factor. It's an outlier.
Yeah. Mm.
It'll be a spectacle, but I can't say that it is going to determine what's the order of the grid.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Obviously, now we get back to the Montreal for a minute.
Yes.
What do you think happened to Russell and Norris? Because that was, like I said, that was drama of the highest order. So I think the lockup happened, and the engine problem happened with George Russell. What do you think was the mechanical part of it? Like, what do you actually think? Like, into deeper detail, but what do you think of what happened?
Yeah, I can check what was the specific diagnosis of why Russell DNF in Montreal. But basically, what happened is just like in the sprint race, George Russell and Kimi Antonelli both went pound for pound, stride for stride. They are not. Yes, even though Russell finished above Antonelli in qualifying, the pace, nothing can separate them. If anything, Kimi Antonelli just looked faster. Russell just looked more dark arts, gamesmanship from a defensive standpoint. In terms of the race itself, very unfortunate for George Russell, bittersweet because even though they were going stride for stride and George Russell DNF'd in the midst of the battle between him and Antonelli, yes, Kimi Antonelli probably would have won the race whether without the DNF. He just looked a lot quicker than Russell, but at the same time, there was a battery failure struck. That was it, leaving no electricity in the car. Ekevin, that is the quote verbatim. The issue for George Russell this weekend. There was a battery failure that struck, leaving no more electricity in the car. Why is that significant? Because these cars in this generation are very electricity oriented. They're not natural, right? They're not like your cars from 10, 15 years ago. They are very, very technological. So, from the technical element, it is about electricity and battery. And once that dies, just like your mobile phone, just like your computer, for example, everyone knows the drill. If you're watching this device, if you're watching this stream, that's it, kaput, game over. So for Russell, reliability, battery issues. For Kimi Antonelli, he is just relentless in victory, and also he is the best at the pack at the moment. Where does that leave us with Canada going forward? Canada's been a track where historically Russell has been remarkable. He won there last year. Let's not forget. He got his first win of the year last year. This year, even though he won the sprint and he finished on pole, on race day, race pace wise, Ekevin, I think you'd agree with me. He did not look like the quickest. Lando and Kimi
Yeah.
both look quick in the sprint, and also on the race itself, Kimi looked quicker. You could say Hamilton and Verstappen may have even caused Russell some problems depending on the pit stop strategy. So yeah, tough day for George Russell. A big, big, big race in Monaco because Monaco is one of those races like in 2021 where Hamilton finished seventh, Verstappen finished first. This is a race that can swing a championship. So Russell really needs to be on the mark in Monaco because if Kimi Antonelli, if results go the right way, who knows? Kimi wins Monaco, Russell P6. The advantage is just borderline insurmountable.
What happened to Norris? No, Russell.
This I'm going to do a thumbs up. So for those who watched the press conference between Hamilton, Kimi, and Verstappen, they were asked about strategy. They gave a thumbs up. Basically, because the conditions at the beginning of the race, we said rain would be a factor. We're uncertain. The track was wet a bit. They started on the intermediate tires. Everyone else was changing. So while everyone else was getting onto their slicks, their hards, their mediums, whatever the strategy was, Ekif and McLaren started on the wrong tires. So after lap one, after the
That's
yeah, it's just an unavoidable, indefensible, unforced error. Again, after the many formation laps, they had to pit. So Lando Norris, even though he ended the first official lap of the race of racing on top, unfortunately, all those gains made negligible, nigh on, because he went in the pits. And then after he came out of the pits, he came back. He was on lap 2. He was just in the middle of the pack, outside the points, trying to make up a margin that was just indefensible. So tough day for McLaren at the office. But again, if you're Verstappen or Hamilton, you're not complaining.
No, of course you're not complaining. I mean, at the same time, like you've been given pretty much a gift. You've been pretty much given a gift, and you've taken the gift and you've kind of, taken the opportunity to win or to get at least close to the victory. And I'm glad that Hamilton has finally taken advantage of that. Like I said, because you and I have been praising Hamilton all weekend about how quick his car is and how much better the upgrades look on Hamilton's car. The time of the qualifying, the laps, the pace in general, like just it looks a lot quicker, right? However, we need to see consistent in this. We need to see it more consistent, because we can talk about it being quick for this weekend, but what about next weekend and the week after? It's at this rate it's false hope up until he really wins a race. Because I want him to win, bro. He has to win a race this year, surely. He has to. I mean, it's got to be what. It's got to happen somehow. Sometime soon, at least. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. If Hamilton doesn't win a race this season, it is nothing short of a failure. Right? I'm not saying it's on his part, but if Hamilton doesn't win a race, it is worse than a failure. Wouldn't you agree with me on that one? Because frankly, Hamilton, with the pace he's shown lately, this has been peak pinnacle Lewis Hamilton. Big up. Just when we talk about Tifosi, the representative of Tifosi, the personification of what Tifosi is, comes in the chat. Absolute legend. Lewis Hamilton, a race win has to be the minimum target. Dare I say, of course, Mercedes are heavy favorites, but there is a world where when the FIA, suspected to be Monaco, when they start regulating that engine compression dominance, the margins get cut out basically, and they reacclimate to normal. Ferrari on many tracks, especially like a Monaco that aren't power dominant, Lewis Hamilton may have a car that is perhaps the best, a race-winning car, and over time, it's a gap of 50 points. It's half of what Max had to deal with Oscar Piastri. And again, I think Kimi Antonelli is a better driver than Oscar. He's on a winning streak that Ayrton Senna, Leclerc, Niki Lauda can't even match. However, you never know. Peak Hamilton can do anything. So, yeah, I think for Lewis Hamilton, the target is a race victory this year, at least at the minimum. If not, compete.
At the same time, I mean, we talked about DNF. Excuse me, DNF. Sergio Perez, Lando Norris, George Russell, Fernando Alonso, Alex Albon did not finish the race. There's one driver in particular that did not even have a single involvement of this weekend, or at least this race.
Shame, man. Such a shame.
Arvid Lindblad. His car, bro. We had to waste 3 formation laps just because, I don't know, like there was an extra formation lap just because the car was just not working. Something happened. You know what I'm saying? Something decided to happen. I don't know, man. Like, bro, what an unlucky time for that to happen. Literally, just as the race was about to start, or just as the formation lap was about to start, his car completely shut down. Like, it didn't work. I had to pull it back into the garage, and then it had to start all over again. I had to do another formation lap and another formation lap. So we wasted 3 laps. Could have been an extra 3 laps of racing, and who knows? You know, we could have had more drama. But what do you think happened, man, to Arvid Lindblad? What do you think happened, man? Because
Yeah, look, I can check the official diagnosis. I can check the official diagnosis of what happened. Tifosi can help us out as well. But it's a big shame for Lindblad because obviously he finished within the points on all three sessions before sprint, quali. So Lindblad looked to be the fastest of the rest, the best of the rest this weekend. That honor anointed towards him. Unfortunately, his retirement, really, really sad given he had, I'm just checking out, he reported an issue with very specific. This website says an issue with racing bulls. I think there was an issue with the gearbox. He was unable to select a specific gear, resulting in an extra formation lap for everyone else. And then eventually he was wheeled out by the marshals and retired from the Grand Prix. Very, very tough. These mechanical issues are to be expected. And unfortunately, for the overwhelming most part, it can happen to anyone. It's like life. We all think we're invincible, but something, an incident, hopefully not, God forbid, that doesn't happen to any of us in the chat and us on the panel. Life just throws you curveballs, just like this. You can't really anticipate it. Some things are just unavoidable. So, yeah, tough day for Arvid Lindblad, but he can walk away holding his head high with a lot of pride because he has been lights out, scintillating, and really, really sensational this weekend here. Yeah, Tifosi agrees and doubles down by saying it was a clutch and gearbox failure. Yep. That,
Yeah, it's so unfortunate, man, because he's had a good season. I mean, you don't want to see something that happened early on. You know what I'm saying? Mechanical issues all over the place. You know, with Norris's car, with Russell's car, everything. You know, so it wasn't the right time to have it, but at the end of the day, I can't complain. You know, we had a good dramatic race, but I mean, we said a lot about this weekend. Come the next race, what to expect? You said Monaco. What to expect now for the next race? What to hope for? You know, because I don't know if you want to say anything more about the Canadian Grand Prix, but I mean, there's a few other things we could talk about. You know, I mean, Hadjar, we could talk about him. We could talk about other drivers if you like, Piastri if you like. But what do you make of the rest of the Canadian Grand Prix and what to expect and what to hope for in the next race?
I think the outcome of the Canadian Grand Prix is potentially the outcome we get in Monaco, but on pure merit, without all the engine calamity. Because Monaco Grand Prix, for those who don't know, we've said it a couple times on the stream already. This is the race where the FIA enforced these regulations to make sure no team, aka the Mercedes engines, are gaining a significant engine compression loophole. That is where they're enforcing this law. Second, even if that law was not being enforced, the Monaco Grand Prix is the track where power is the least dominant. It is the least required. Mercedes, the reason they are so superior and significant is because of their power, is because of their engine. So for Ferrari, that have built a very technically tremendous racing car, for Red Bull that are exploiting, hunting, eating into those gains, for McLaren that also, with their upgrades, not broad, but specific upgrades, especially to the front of their car, they look like contenders as well on certain tracks. Monaco Grand Prix could be super unpredictable. And the other thing I think I'm looking forward to is, hey, these new regulations, they brought in overtakes galore. Monaco Grand Prix, not renowned for overtakes. 1+1, what does that mean? So like Ekman and I said earlier on, I can't believe it, but we are excited for a Monaco Grand Prix because we don't know what to expect. This is a race where historically championship leads can swing, right? Because one driver just does not hit the mark on their final 2-3 lap. Another, flyer. Charles Leclerc is one I'm watching out for. Ferrari have the car. Leclerc has been remarkable in Monaco. Leclerc in Monaco just seemed like a love story. He just is like 5 tenths. Ekman, he's like the fastest guy. He's the fastest guy in Monaco almost every year. If his team just did not fuck him up or handicap him, he would have won a ton of Monaco Grand Prix. I think you'd agree with me on that one.
Yeah.
So I think Leclerc would be my favorite this weekend. Leclerc and Antonelli are my two favorites. Yeah, exactly. That is a great point.
Not in Monaco. I don't expect any overtakes in Monaco. Like, not many, but I expect a few, but like not many. Like it's not huge. It'll still be like at the top. It'll still like remain what it is. Like where the qualifying is. There'll be like a one-stop strategy, of course, like a 1 or 2-stop strategy, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, so then this is correct here because more is the operative word. I agree. There will be more overtakes. What does more look like? If more looks like a million overtakes, we've won. Because then we get the most beautiful backdrop in the history of Formula One. Iconic, historic, vintage, and solid racing. Pure cinema. That's what we want. And we may get that. So this dream of Monaco, because every race so far, let's be honest here, despite all the bickering, despite all the controversy, we have had some overtakes. The racing may not have been peak, but the overtakes have been there. So that's what we want, and we're gonna get that in Monaco, hopefully.
Hmm. Fair enough, bro. And also, one thing I forgot to mention was George Russell's front wing issue. He has some front
Yes.
wing damage. That's why he wasn't able to complete, or he didn't have a great race. It wasn't like he wasn't like the most standout. It's because of that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, gotta watch out for the front wing as well. I think front wing is a huge factor into having the extra bit of pace and having that extra bit of turn. So yeah, I guess we said everything. Unless you have any final thoughts.
No, just enjoy these next few weeks because it's relentless. Have fun. Enjoy it.
Can't wait for the next show, guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button, sub to the channel if you're around here. Turn your notification bell on so you don't miss an upload, you don't miss a live, you don't miss all the content. I'm back live in a few hours of the Premier League show. Gonna review the season, gonna recap Game Week 38 real quick. Gonna finally cap off what's been a really interesting season in the Premier League. Later on after that is the NBA show, so stay tuned to that. I've got 2 more shows later tonight, so guys, we're not going
We'll
anywhere.
both be back for that one.
100%. Gus is going to come back for that. Make sure you guys hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let's get to 610. 2 subs to 610. Come on, guys. At least get there by the end of today. Easy. Come on, let's get there, guys. 2 subs, and then we'll go from there. So we'll get closer to that 700 mark for the World Cup. Anyways, guys, catch you guys in a bit. Peace. Take care.
Juices.